Bush, week one, things can be a little sloppy, ball might get a little loose. So what are your conversations with the guys about trying to put together a clean performance?
Yeah, I think it's everything you talked about. We certainly, I think the whole country was watching that Iowa State, Kansas State game, and taking just a lot of the different scenarios that come up. Again, you try to practice as many of those different situations, whether it be 2-minute, 4-minute, emphasis on ball security. But it's going to be critical for the guys. It's their first live action as a 2025 unit. Ultimately, you got to be ready. There's going to be some things that happen. We got to play one play at a time and be ready to go.
Bush, what did you learn about Zach Calzada since he got here from now that maybe you didn't know from watching 6 years of college film?
I think there's always the human element to it. I think he's got a contagious personality. You never know. When we go through this process, particularly in the transfer portal, I mean, it's 3-4 days and you're making a critical decision on somebody. And so I just think there's a lot of people rooting for him. He's a guy that's willing to put in the work. He's a guy that wants to be around everybody, that wants to bring people together. And I think we're fortunate in that regard from a leadership standpoint. We think he has a lot of those qualities.
Toledo's got a pretty experienced secondary. What kind of challenges are they going to face?
I think this is as well a coach team as we've probably seen in a while. I mean, I think the message we all know, right? This is a team that played and played extremely well against Mississippi State in that win, that beat Pitt in their last game, and so it's an extremely tough unit, fundamentally sound, play their butt off. We know what's ahead of us.
We've heard this term kind of game manager used. Zach's used it as well. Is it fair to say that the whole playbook is open for him, or how are you kind of attacking this first game for him?
Yeah, I mean, we're sticking to our game plan. It's the regular plan, if you will. I think every game at the quarterback position, you got to pick and choose your battles and pick when to be aggressive, when not to be. Again, it'll be the first live action for him. Making plays down the field when the opportunity presents itself. When it's not there, vertical runs, throwing checkdowns. Always going to just come with creating that flow in our offense by taking what they give you.
How's Willie Rodriguez? How can he be used to create mismatches?
I think, again, we feel strongly about him. Josh Caddis has had an extremely good spring as well. He's a guy that has been here a lot, played a lot. I think Willie's got that rare ability to stretch the field and also show that physicality. But again, you guys know it's matchups against linebackers, sometimes safeties, where those tight ends can create a mismatch, and we know what we got to get done with that group.
I've heard a lot of great things about Jason Patterson from some of the scrimmages, but he wasn't on the depth chart, neither was Graham Wilcox. How are the running backs going to be managed with kind of the different options there, obviously, Dante and Seth as well?
Yeah, we're very proud of what Jason's done. Again, he's been a guy who, in this day and age, we bring in 2 transfer portal players at the running back position. He didn't miss a beat. He came out here, he's worked his tail off for the last 6 months, had a great offseason, and is getting a lot better. So what he offers for us and what Wilcox offers is good depth. I do think we're going to lean on the 2 veteran backs with their experience and how long they've played and go from there.
To kind of piggyback off that, a lot of oars for the wide receiver position in the 2D. How do you guys handle or kind of plan to use each guy, whether it be a taller guy like JJ in the goal, in the red zone, or maybe a shorter guy like Kendrick in the screen game? So how does that kind of work, putting guys in the right position?
Yeah, with the utilization of personnel groups, we feel we can get certain guys into certain spots. But it's everything you said. There are a lot of oars there because it's one of those things until you're playing in that first game, you never know exactly what you have. And so we've always felt that position. There hasn't been necessarily a true one, in our opinion, that stood out, but there's a bunch of guys that have done a nice job. So we're excited to see him play on Saturday and continue to work with them and just see how that room separates itself.
This is a big game for everyone, obviously, but you get the sense that the offensive line in particular has something to prove this week.
I think we all have something to prove, so I don't know if there's just one single group. I think I've got something to prove. I think the quarterbacks, every group does. And so, but you got something to prove every week in this conference, and I think you guys know that as well, So it's the process. Came out here, had a good Tuesday practice, got to have a good Wednesday, got to have great prep, and we all got something to prove. So.
What do you feel like you have to prove?
Well, we certainly got to play, much better on offense. I mean, I know that's not a big-time crazy answer, but we've got to score more points. We've got to make sure we go out there, not beat ourselves first and foremost, play sound football. I know that message has been said. I want to see us go play, utilize tempo, play fast. You know, you got 35 new players, and we got to play in rhythm, you know, and we got to make sure we're out there clicking, keeping it simple, but still being effective and having enough. So.
You said no one had really emerged as the one at wide receiver. Is that concerning, or is that just a testament to the competition level?
We'll see. We'll see. I don't have an honest answer to that. You know, I think there has been some inconsistency or holding certain guys to that standard of being the one, and to be that one, it's got to be every single day. But then from a depth standpoint, it has been impressive. Again, we've talked about some of these freshmen. You know, a guy like Cam Miller has come out here and surprised us in a lot of ways. Didn't show up till June and really has had a nice camp. And so it's a little bit of both. But again, as you guys know, you think you have one thing, and when bright lights go, certain guys hide in games and certain guys really show up in games. So we're excited to see that and see how fast they can go play.
You looked at Toledo's tape. Did anybody jump out at you on the defensive side of the ball, a guy that you really have to pay attention to?
Yeah, I think the corner, you know, it's impressive. It's hats off to that staff, because I think that corner is a guy that probably could have left and played a lot of different places. The safety, number 7's an extremely good player as well. I think they're very experienced on the back end, and although they've lost a lot up front, I think they've added some value players who've played a lot of football. So, again, I think the secondary certainly is an experienced group, has played a lot of football, but these guys play well as a team. Staff's been together for a long, long time. It matters, and we know what they can do in games like this.
We talked about freshmen a little bit ago. On the 2 deep for the offensive line, we saw 2 true freshmen there in Jaden and Darren. Can you talk about what you've seen from them and what they've kind of done to give you guys the confidence to put them on that 2 deep?
Yeah, just really impressive anytime you get a freshman in this style of system to be able to comprehend the whole system, you know, and to still be able to play fast. There's a natural instinctual part to that I don't think you can necessarily teach. Those guys have been able to come in, handle the playbook, handle the checks, and really from a physicality standpoint, I think both those guys are about their business and love playing football. And so because of that, when the opportunity came up this fall for them to make a run at it, they played solid, and that's why they're where they're at.
Coach, this time last year, it was obviously your first game here in Lexington. Obviously the weather kind of threw a wrench in that, but how much more confident, how much more comfortable do you feel heading into year 2 and your second first game here at Kentucky?
Yeah, year 2 in football is like year 8 in anything else, you know, so I just, again, whether it was first year with Eric Wolford as the offensive line coach and him and I together, you know, and so certainly feel very comfortable, but when you're looking at these guys and our opponent, they're like in year 9 together or 10 together, so it is what it is. Definitely feel more comfortable. This offensive staff's been tremendous, but again, we got a lot of work we got to get done.
How to get off to a fast start on Saturday?
Playing fast, keeping it simple. Again, everything for us is getting these guys to play fast. I'm not necessarily just talking about tempo. I know that's always a thing that's brought up, but how we can keep it simple, how we can get the quarterback in rhythm, how we can get the run game going. Again, it's the first time you got 11 new pieces, and you gotta get those guys playing accordingly.
Everybody good?
Thanks, guys.